students. Today we'll start one of the important topic in the language, that is voices. And there are two type of voices, that is active and passive voice, and it is one of the most important topic. And in this topic there are rules that has to be applied in order to change from active voice to passive voice or from passive to active. Let's begin with our session by knowing that why this is important. This is important because we are able to distinguish between what are the active voice sentences and what are the passive sentences, then why it is appropriate in some places to use active voice and why it is appropriate to use passive voice. Similarly, there are sentences given over there and you should identify that if that particular sentence is written in active voice or passive voice. And the most important thing that comes in the exam is that you have to change the active to sentence into passive or passive to active. So let's talk about what is an active voice. Let's look up this the definition of these terms and let's figure out the the structure, that how the active voice sentences are formed. Active voice sentences means the sentence has a subject that acts upon its verb. Means the important aspect over here in active voice is its subject, then there comes the verb, and then comes the object. The subject of a sentence is an important aspect over here in the active voice, and we always construct the sentence in such a way that the subject comes first and then comes the verb, and then in the end we have object. Now let us look at an example so that you can have a better understanding of the thing. For example, we are going to watch a movie tonight. We are going to watch a movie tonight. Now let's break down this sentence in its active structure. We over here is the subject. Are going over here is the verb. And then there comes the to watch a movie tonight. So your object is movie. So if you see, the sentence has been constructed in active structure, which says that subject comes first. So we have written subject over here. Then verbs comes next. So we have verb in the next part of the sentence, and then comes the object. So if you will see that the sentence goes, or we can say that the sentence is an active voice because it says that we are going to watch a movie tonight. Let's take another example. A dangerous dog attacked him. So let's figure out what is the subject over here. Sorry, it would be capital. Yes. The subject over here is a dog because we are talking about the dog. And what action this subject has performed? That is, it attacked. So that's the verb. All the verbs are action words. And then him means that the dog attacked someone and he is an object. So if you can see that the both examples over here are related to active voice, the sentence has been constructed in such a manner which is given for the active voice, that is subject plus verb plus object, and it is most direct form of sentence, and mostly this voice is used in different piece of writing. So this was all about active voice. Let's move on to the passive voice. Okay, so we have passive voice. Let's find out what does passive voice means. Alright, it means that the subject is a recipient of a verb's action. Over here, your subject is not that important. Okay, let me write down the structure. How does passive voice is formed? Your object becomes your subject. Then you write down your verb by changing its form. You need to change its form. Change its form. And then comes the subject. So this means that basically the action is being received by the subject. So your subject is not of importance over here. Your object becomes your subject, and it doesn't matter who has performed the action, because the subject over here is for the secondary importance. And this type of writing, passive voice, is considered as a weak type of writing. But yes, in many cases you have to use the passive voice where action is more appropriate, where the emphasis should be on the action. Over here the emphasis is on the subject, that who's performing the action, but over here the action or the object part is more important than your subject. So let's look for an example over here. A movie. Okay, let's take the same example that is over here. We are going to watch a movie. A movie. Then see, your object becomes your subject. A movie is going to be watched by us tonight. So see, as you all can notice that what's happening over here, that your object becomes your subject. So this has changed its place. Then you will see that over here there's a change in the form, because a movie is a singular thing, so it's gonna be is and going to be watched by us tonight. The subject comes in the end. So basically your passive voice is considered to be as the weak form of the sentence, but in scientific purpose of writing, where action is more important, this type of writing is used. Okay, in passive voice, however, subject is no longer performing an action of the verb, rather it is being acted upon by the verb. Let's put it in another way, that is, the subject of a sentence in the passive voice is no longer the doer of the action, but the recipient of the action, the one who receives the action. Meanwhile, what was the subject of a sentence in the active voice, the doer becomes the agent in the passive voice. So your subject becomes the agent over here, as in a passive voice. Let's take another example. A dangerous dog attacked him. So let's change it into the passive voice. Let me write it over here. She, because this is in the past tense, so she was attacked by the dangerous dog. So now if you will notice that what's happening over here is that your object, sorry, not she, it's going to be he. I'm really sorry for that. It's going to be he. Was it because it's him over here, so it's going to be he over here. He was attacked by the dangerous dog. So now your object has taken the first place. Then there's a change of a tense, as I told you that your verb is going to change its form. This was in past tense, so we are going to use was attacked over here. So this is the verb, and then comes your subject. That is the dangerous dog. So this was all about the introduction of active and passive voice. Let's talk about the rule in the next video. Thank you.